Good luck with bringing in the next baby. Wow. All right, well, thank you, Craig, for that great intro. And wow, these lights are bright. All right, I'm going to step back a little bit here. How's everybody doing this morning?
Great.
Woo! There we go. All right, good. All right, well, I'm going to just give you a little brief background of how I got to be standing up here and hanging out with all of you guys today. My Beachbody journey started a little over 10 years ago. A friend of mine brought this silly little DVD package to my house and tried to convince me to do a workout in front of a TV set. I'll be honest, I laughed and I said, no way am I doing that. But she was persistent and she kept pushing. I was 43 years old at the time, and I was about 70 pounds or so heavier than I am now. And I really needed something at that time because, not only was I physically out of shape and not in my healthiest form, I wasn't feeling real good in life, and I wanted to make that change, to get the sort of vitality and zeal for life back. So I said, what the hell, I'll try it. Whatever I'm doing right now isn't working, obviously. So I got together with my friend and another friend of mine, Callahan, who's going to come up and share some wisdom with us in a few minutes too. And we dove into that program, P90X. Who's heard of it? Yeah, right? And, what can I say? Had a life-changing experience. Lost 70 pounds at 43 years old. Started to feel like I was 23 again. And everything in life got better. I became a better husband, I became a better parent, I became a better friend, a better anything I was doing because I had my love for life back. That's really what that program gave to me. Beyond all the physical attributes and getting in shape and losing the weight and all of that stuff, what really happens, as any of you know who have gone through any of our programs, what really happens is you get your love and zeal for life back. And that was amazing. That was an amazing thing to go through, to experience that part of it. And it's funny, when you hear my wife talk about my transformation story, she doesn't talk about a single pound coming off. Her side of telling my story is, I got my husband back. And that's what she tells people. Through that little 90-day experience, I came back into the picture as an active participant. And that's what I remember about that initial entry into the Beachbody world 10 years ago, and that's what I fell in love with. That's what drove me to continue to look deeper into the ways that I could participate with this company. I was so impressed by what that silly little DVD program was able to do for me when I found out that there was also a business opportunity alongside that, put together by the same people, by the same company. Intrigued isn't the right word. I was bouncing off the walls with excitement to learn more about that. And so I went to an event just like this in a little room. It was down the road in Boston, but there was probably about the same amount of people as we have right here. I think we had 35 people or something at that event. Carl Deichler, CEO and owner of the company, came out. We had a couple of other people from corporate who came out, and it was kind of the very beginnings of this whole coaching thing, and I fell in love even deeper. I got to meet face-to-face Carl, hear from his voice, his vision for what this is all about, what he wanted to do with this, and where things were going. The integrity and science and thought that was put into creating and presenting an opportunity to take this further. An opportunity for people who, like me, had fallen in love with the products to take it another step and to help other people have that same kind of experience and build a business doing that. That sounded pretty darn cool to me. And got me started moving down that road. At the time, I was an attorney. Before becoming a Beachbody coach, I practiced law for 20 years. I was running a law firm. But this coaching thing seemed pretty cool. And I was pretty excited about an opportunity for a lifestyle. And that's really what it was for me in the beginning, was an opportunity to live a certain lifestyle. The promise to be able to earn an income through a lifestyle that was as rewarding and beneficial and uplifting as what we get to do as coaches. And that's really the spark that caught me, was the potential and the opportunity to be doing that on a daily basis. So, fast forward, I became a coach. I started reaching out to all my friends. A lot of them said no in the beginning. In fact, I reached out to one of my very best friends, Keith Callahan, who had gone through the 90-day program with me. And Keith, guess what? You know, there's a business opportunity with this. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to become a coach and help people do what we just did. It's really, really awesome. I've been meeting a bunch of people who are doing it, and they're doing great. What do you think? No way, man. What, are you crazy? No. All right. So I kept going, and I'm, the little train that could, right? And I kept moving forward and going forward and trying to make it happen and go back. And I kept going back to my buddy Keith, because I knew he's just got this great business mind. I knew he'd be great at this. I knew we'd be great at this together. No. I think I went back to him like 3 or 4 times, and he kept saying no, no, no. In fact, he came to my house one time, and he said, dude, I'm your friend. You're an attorney, you got 4 kids, you can't be slinging shakes. What are you doing? What are you thinking? It's like an intervention at my house. Right? Like, oh, no, I can see it, though. I just know it. So then I went out to Los Angeles to my very first summit, 2010. How many of you have been to Coach Summit?
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, all right. All right.
Yes.
Good follow-up question. Who's going this year? Yeah, all right. Well, let me tell you, some magical things happen at Summit. And if you're here and your arm didn't go up, I highly recommend that you consider making the commitment to get there. And don't say, oh, I'll go there when I'm running a business, or when I'm a diamond, or when I'm a 5-star, or when I'm any of that. Go now. The first year that I went was the first year I was even just kind of playing around with coaching, just kind of maybe this is going to be a cool thing. But some really magical things happened from going to Summit. I moved from believing in this to knowing that this was it, to knowing that this was going to be it for me, and knowing that Beachbody was it in terms of getting the job done, getting people results, getting the results in the programs, getting people results through the business opportunity, getting it done, and I knew I was going to get it done. And I came home. The first person I called, actually I didn't even make it home. Before I even left, I got back on the phone to my buddy Keith Callahan. And we talked about it again. And I'm going to call Keith up to the stage now so that he can help me talk about this, so he can hear from his perspective. But he finally said yes! He finally decided it was time to join. And it's because he sensed something very different coming from me. I had made a decision that I knew I was going to do this. I didn't just believe in it anymore. I wasn't just all excited about it. It wasn't rah-rah. It was a deep-seated belief. A switch had turned. And I'll say one thing, if you don't leave here with anything else, leave here with this piece. Everything changes once that switch turns. And no one can turn it except for you. There's no little bit of information that we can give to you. There's no secret words. There's no secret formula. It's about having that switch turn, where you get yourself to the point of just knowing this is for you, and knowing why it's for you, and that you're in and you're going to do it. It looks different. It feels different. The people around you sense it different. Everything changes when that happens. So, help me welcome to the stage Keith Callahan. He's a 10-star diamond, crazy success story coach. Keith and I have been doing this together for 10 years. Together, we built an organization that combined is, somewhere in the 30,000 plus coach range. We've both earned multiple millions of dollars over the last 10 years. More importantly, have helped scores of coaches build successful businesses, duplicating that kind of success, sharing in that kind of success. And for me, that's really what it's all about, and that's what makes the difference. It's not enough to just have success on your own. It's about getting that to duplicate, getting that to continue to turn over in an organizational sense where it becomes a shared success. And that's what the last 10 years have looked like for us. What we'd like to share with you today are some of the key components of that. But before we do that, Keith, I'm going to hand you the microphone because I don't want to just call you up here in silence and let you sort of reflect on a couple of those beginning points as well.
All right, it's great to be here. Before Craig leaves, I want to call him up. So I want to call Craig up here. Just let you know I love you, brother, and I'm excited for you guys to have the baby. And with all you guys, I just wanted to recognize Craig. So Bob just mentioned that we had, there's a collective team of over 30,000 coaches, and it was either like the second or third person in the entire team for Success Club points last month. Craig hit 32, right? Yeah. Success Club, 32. And he's been working hard getting this whole Super Saturday. And I know that there's a lot of people behind the scenes that have been working with him. And just from my heart to yours, brother, I just want to say I love you, excited, proud of you, and it's lonely at the top, guys. So he's doing all this work, he's putting all this effort in, he's putting all this energy in, and the biggest prayer for a leader, like he's been out there running and pushing and Success Club 32 and doing all that work. The biggest prayer for a leader, the best day in a leader's life, is when that next leader comes up, that next leader steps up. So even though you're coming here, and you're coming here as a, which I thought I was doing too, coming here as a guest to watch this whole thing, it doesn't mean that next Super Saturday or the Super Saturday after that, you can't be doing what Craig's doing. You can't be filling those shoes. And just continue to support him, continue to give him the encouragement, the guidance, because it's lonely at the top. Everybody thinks, Craig's got it all together, he's on this path. No, he's out there struggling just like each one of us is every single day to make this happen in his life. So I know they have to leave, I know they have to go to the hospital, but just wanted to bring him up here, and from me, from Bob, let you and Ashley know that we love you and proud of you. And we want pictures of the Super Saturday group before they go on Facebook. Absolutely. The New Hampshire Super Saturday group. Absolutely. All right, love you guys. Love you. All right, so picking up where Bob left off, I think that everybody should be taking notes. Really good habit to get into, really good habit if you're looking for success in this industry or any industry. But the first piece that Bob really mentioned, and I want to sort of just piggyback on, is he went from believing he can. How many people, honestly, do you believe you can succeed in this business? And if we don't believe that we can succeed, here's the number one thing that's going to help you. Getting to events and doing a program 100%. But the difference is, how many of us have been putting in the work, but we're not seeing the results yet? A lot of us fall into that. You can be honest, you're putting in the work, but you're not seeing the results yet. Usually the reason for that is exactly what happened with Bob, because what I saw from an outsider's view was somebody who had been putting in the work, somebody who was a diamond coach, somebody who was coaching for a year, somebody who had a business that was making $100, $200 a week, and somebody who was talking about this all the time, sharing all the time, jumping on Beachbody pages, Googling stuff all the time, being a member of the Beachbody community. And he was really putting in the work. He was putting in the day-to-day effort, but nothing had really happened in the business yet. And it could have stayed that way for 2, 3, 4, 10 years. I mean, he was in love with the company. He was in love with the community. So I don't think he was going to go anywhere. And he could have still been an attorney 10 years later, and his life might not have changed. But the one thing that anybody that has success in this business, and when I determine success, it's that you're achieving the goals that you set out to get, right? For some of us, that's $100 a week, because that's going to make a massive difference in our life. I know for me, when I first got started, $100 a week was a lot of money. But the one thing that determines the success is people move from believing they can. Because Bob wasn't, he had been in leadership roles before. He was an attorney. He had succeeded in other things in life, and he had confidence in himself. I can do this. Like, I can do this. But it's such a slight thing, moving from believing you can to knowing you will. Do you guys catch that? And what knowing you will means, Craig was talking about his friend Tommy Baker, who I haven't read the book, but Leap of Your Life, right? The title says it all. Knowing you will is about getting up to the edge and taking that leap. And I don't recommend this, but when Bob knew he was going to do it, I knew I was going to do it, and I dropped everything in my life. I was going to make this thing happen. I had another business. I let that business go. I was newly married with our first child, and I had to make this happen. Bob had to make this happen. Like, there wasn't any going back. And it's taking that leap, going all in, giving it 100%. Here's the level that I did it at, and I don't recommend this. But it's going to give you an idea.
Don't try this at home.
I'm newly married, right? I'm newly married, just filed bankruptcy, personal bankruptcy, first kid on the way, and I convinced my wife to cash in her 401k. Cash that thing in, which only had like 30 grand in it, because I didn't have a 401k because I messed up all my finances. Do you get it, though? Do you get that all in? Again, don't recommend it, but are you willing to bet on yourself? Write that down. Are you willing to bet on yourself? Are you willing to go all in on this? Or are you here saying, I'll give it a shot. I'll see if it works, and if it doesn't work, I can always go back to doing that other miserable thing that I'm not happy with, right? Because that's why we're all here. It's two things. There's two reasons why we're here. We're here because we feel better when we're here. We feel better around this community. Even if it was nervous to get here, even if we were anxious to get here, even if, like Craig said, we got to the door and we wanted to walk away, or we didn't sleep last night because we were nervous to get here, right? We come to this because of the community, which we're going to talk about today, right? That's the first piece, but the second piece is, let's face it, this is a business, right? We all want to earn a little bit of extra money. And that starts with committing to yourself, going all in. And write this down. Here's what we want to go all in on. Go all in on Beachbody. Go all in on the Beachbody community. Go all in on a program. Like, if you really want to see massive growth in your business, all in, 100%. Nutrition, community, and actual workouts. And then go all in on you. On you. Because nobody's going to build this business for you. that they can bring in, tomorrow we're going to Natick, or I'm going to Natick, Bob's going to Connecticut, Chris Downing's coming in, and he's going to give all these people this amazing inspiration, but he's not going to do it for them, right? So each one of us, we have to do it for ourselves. So just wanted to start there. I'm excited to be, I planned on just coming and I wanted to meet everybody and just come up to New Hampshire and be a participant, and then Bob was like, oh, we're doing this thing together. So I'm gonna hand it back to Bob because he knows the direction we're going.
Later on, we're going to talk about duplicating leadership. That's how you do it. Guess what, dude? You're on stage today. We've been doing that for 10 years. All right, so everybody in this room, do you know you're going to do it?
Yes.
Do you know you're going to do it? Leave here today with that piece. Just make that one little switch. I'm going to do it, and I know I'm going to do it. Okay? Just that little bit of switch in your mindset. You'll be amazed at what happens. Even when you talk to yourself and you have those conversations inside your head, switch the conversation to, I know I'm doing this. I'm doing this. The way you talk to yourself in that little tape inside your head makes a big difference on what gets created in your life, on what you get to manifest. Change the conversation, change the words, change the thought process. You gotta know it, and you're the only one who can do that, okay? All right, so with that, let's talk about what I believe are the 3 essential ingredients to success in becoming a Team Beachbody coach. There's 3 things that you have to do, and you have to go all in on to succeed as a coach. After 10 years of doing this, building that organization of whatever, 30,000 plus people, helping scores of people build life-changing businesses, I've noticed 3 things that are the most important things. 3 things that sort of, set apart the sort of dividing line between those who succeed real big with this and those who kind of are always on that bubble but can't quite get off of it. These are the 3 things that make the difference, okay? And the first one is living the lifestyle. Living the lifestyle, okay? Kind of sounds like one of our vital behaviors, right? Right? Be proof the products work, right? Be proof. I want to take it just a little step further and expand that concept. Live the lifestyle. Embrace the lifestyle and live it. And that means more than just drinking a Shakeology each morning and doing a half-hour workout. Okay? You may have heard that that's enough. That's not enough. Okay? And in fact, that's not what's even meant by that first vital behavior when we talk about that. And a lot of people's minds, unfortunately, and mine included for a very long time, thought that was it. Yeah, I gotta drink Shakeology every day. I might even put a selfie up each day of myself with my Shakeology, getting my workout done in the basement every morning. Nobody sees me, but I'm doing it. And then I put Beachbody in the closet for the day and go through my day. That's not living the lifestyle. Living the lifestyle means fully embracing what it is to be a Beachbody coach. And I'm going to give everybody a little bit of homework, a little journaling. I'd like you to go home tonight and write. And just write and write and write and let the pen just flow. Fill pages with what you think a Beachbody coach is all about. All the levels. Helping people help themselves, help people get healthy and fit, help people join and become part of a community, help people feel part of something that's bigger than them, help people to build relationships, all of those things. And those are just some of the things that are flowing off of my head. But it's more important that you connect with what's your ideal vision of what this thing is. What attracted you to be here? When you think of the ultimate life as a Beachbody coach, what does that mean for you? Everything, all aspects of it. And not just the part about the workouts and the nutritionals? What's the rest of the lifestyle? Part of it's getting to things like this. Do you like getting to things like this? Would you like a life that's filled with getting to things like this and getting to, the event that Keith talked about tomorrow with Chris Downing, getting on the Beachbody cruise that we had a couple of weeks ago, getting to Summit, getting to local fit clubs, getting around and being with other like-minded people who are committed to improving themselves, mind, body, spirit, and working together in a community where everybody's helping each other do that. Does that sound cool to you? That's what being a Beachbody coach is all about, from my perspective. The sooner you learn what it's about from your perspective on all levels, and you just step into that mold and be it, the sooner you will succeed. And here's the kicker. You won't succeed until you step into that mold. Most of us make the mistake of saying, I'll do all those things once I'm a diamond, or once I'm a 5-star, or once I'm full-time, then I'll be able to. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Just like Keith said, when he and I started, I was running a law firm. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I got 4 kids, I was working 60 hours a week. I didn't have any time. Somebody planted this little seed in my head that said, if you want to be a Beachbody coach, just start doing the things that Beachbody coaches do. Just start doing it. And let people see that you're doing it. Just start living the lifestyle and all the different levels of what that is. And take the time to dig into that so that you understand what you believe it is, so you can start doing those things. Okay? Kind of works like this. Somebody said to me once, it's not, I'll believe it when I see it, it's, I'll see it when I believe it. And that's the same here. It's not, I'll see it, I'll believe it when I see it. It's, I'll see it when I believe it. It's not, I'll do all those things. If I could only be a full-time Beachbody coach, here's the life I would live. Turn that around. Here's the life I'm going to live, and by living it, I'm going to have the chance to be a full-time Beachbody coach. Because that's how it switches. That's how it changes for you. You've got to start stepping in and just doing those things. Those are the things that are going to attract your tribe to you. Those are the things that are going to bring your business partner coaches to you. Those are the things that are going to build the organization for you. You get all that stuff by doing those things. And doing those things in a very real and very big way so people can see it and people want to be part of it. And remember, it's on 2 levels. It's yes, the fitness side, yes, drink your Shakeology every day, yes, do your performance line every day, let people know that you're doing it. When you're off on your community hikes, don't think, this isn't a time to talk about Beachbody. Boy, I'm drinking my hydrate here, at the kids' basketball games or soccer games and drinking my hydrate, or make it part of your life. Am I making sense to everybody? The sooner you do that and the bigger you do that and step into the lifestyle, the sooner it'll start clicking for you, and the faster it'll move for you. And the more you do that and the deeper you do it, the more momentum you're going to build. That's step 1. Live the lifestyle. All right? I know Keith has a great story to share with you, a real life story that just happened to him, and this very idea of what it means to live the lifestyle and in how to move that forward and what that energy will do to the way that your business grows. Want to share?
Good spot.
Glad to stand.
All right, so when I first got started, I was all in on the products and the programs. Bob and I went through P90X, and it changed me from the inside out. It really did. It changed me from the inside out. And as Bob was talking, I was thinking, I'm just going to do a stream of consciousness on what it means to me to be a Beachbody coach. And that started with somebody who got roped in to do P90X with Bob and Kai, and somebody who doesn't complete things in their life. I'll do things to 90% and I'll get right to the edge, but then I stop. And so for me, what does it mean to be a Beachbody coach? Started as a customer. It started with my own personal journey. And that's a super important point, because some of us want to coach others, but we need to be coached and we need to be fueled up before we can go out there and start coaching others. So for me, what does a Beachbody coach look like? It looked like, ooh, the first 3 weeks of P90X are fun, lifting. Well, I can kind of do this. It's a little bit faster paced than I'm used to. Week 4 comes around, it's like, whoa, an hour and a half of yoga. Hour and a half of yoga twice this week. And it came into massive resistance. It came into being an hour into yoga and breaking down and crying in my house. It came to things that I had to grow through. It came to texting Bob and Kai, just knowing that they were going to complete that day with me. And that started my journey as a Beachbody coach, and then it started to progress, still with P90X. I don't, for anybody that's ever done it, the first 3 weeks, that's like, I can do that. The next 3 weeks, whoa, that was weird. You get into the 5th week, and all of a sudden you got like back and buys together. So you do, like at the end of it, you can't do a pull-up. And it was just like, it was humbling. And again, that same thing. And guess what I wanted to do? I wanted to quit. I wanted to walk away. But I was part of that group, part of 2 other people that were doing it, and they had my back. And it was as simple as that. It was as simple as I would do it for somebody else, but I wouldn't do it for myself. If you're out there and you're doing a program right now, make sure you're in that community. Make sure you have the support, because we need it just as much as the people we're trying to coach, right? And then I get to the end of that program, and the last 10 days for me, every single day, I wanted to cry doing that program. Every single day, I didn't want to go to bed. I wanted to go out and have a few beers the night before, and I wanted to do anything but that last 10 days of P90X, because that's my pattern. That's my habit. And for me, what does it mean to be a Beachbody coach? It was committing to something and following through. But it's not alone, right? It's not alone. And sometimes we can get caught up in the complexities of this. Here's what it means to coach someone through a challenge group. You don't need to know any of the programs. You don't need to know what the ingredients are in Shakeology. You don't need to know what it does for somebody. You don't need to know any of the answers of why they're sequenced in this way. You know what you need to do? 2 things. You need to show up, and you need to love people. That's it. And it's, what's it mean? It goes back and forth. Reciprocity. Reciprocal. Reciprocal. All right. Being a Beachbody coach means, like, what does it mean to me? It means taking that leap, taking that step. It means going all in. It means plugging into a community. It means being scared. Like, being scared, but I don't know, there's something different. Like, for me, there was, I am through and through an entrepreneur, and there's kids in the room, mine too. I messed up entrepreneurship so many times. I messed it up so many times, you guys. Failure, bankruptcy, like all that stuff in entrepreneurship. And then guess what happened? I found Beachbody. And you know why I succeeded in it? It's because I wasn't alone anymore. It's because I could be an entrepreneur, and I could grow, and I could have these visions and these dreams and these hopes and these crazy pie-in-the-sky ideas. And when I mess things up, there was a community there to support me. There was a community there to lift me up. There was Carl Deichler there that's shipping out the products and bringing in these new trainers and bringing in all these people. And I could just I could go out there and try and be nervous and be excited and mess things up and do all of it. And then if it didn't work, there was a community there that was guiding me and supporting me and encouraging me. And there was these group of people that were outside of my life, outside of Beachbody, and they didn't get it. And they wanted to bring us down. They didn't get that you could live a healthy, vibrant, God-centered, spirit-centered, that you could work on yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, that you could have that all. Because that's not the way we were brought up, right? Most of us who get attracted to this industry, most of us who get attracted to Beachbody, we're attracted into this because of one thing. That person's bright and shiny and I want what they have. Right? That's why we get attracted into this. So for me, what is a Beachbody coach? And this is one of those things you want to write down. How do I become the brightest, shiniest version of myself? Step 1. Step 2, how do I share that journey? And then step 3, how do I help others do the same? To me, that's the ultimate gift of this business. Because here's the tough part about this business, and here's the blessing about this business. Your success is going to be in direct proportion as to how bright and shiny and beautiful you become from the inside out. How much you love yourself, how much self-esteem you have, and how good you are at helping others do that. That's it. Because you can go out and you can be Joe Sixpack. There's a lot of Joe Sixpacks that have been working this business for 10 years, and they're still struggling. Because they may be Joe Sixpack on the outside, but they're a mess on the inside, right? So it starts with us. That's the beauty of this business. This business isn't a fitness company. This is a personal development company. Personal development. And that isn't reading 10 pages a day. Those two words, personal, human, development, developing ourselves as a person. So for me, that's what it is to be a Beachbody coach. And that's where all the beautiful things in life come from. It comes from being like, you know what? I don't have this all figured out. I don't have this life thing figured out. I don't have this work thing figured out. I don't have this finance thing figured out. I don't have this fitness thing figured out. But you guys are telling me I can just plug in? That's all I have to do. Just plug in and things are going to start to work. Things are going to start to fall in place. And I'm telling you, that's how it's worked. Bob and I have been blessed. We've been blessed to be able to have duplication after duplication after duplication in our business and within our team. And it's simply been, there's two levels, I think, to this business. There's people who come in and they just want to be in it for the community, and I think that's amazing. And I think that, I've met so many amazing people that's all they wanted. And that's what we're about. That's the number one thing that Beachbody does is we bring people into this lifestyle. And then there's the second group of people who want to build a business, right? Who want to be successful with this. The ones who have that success are the ones who embrace the Beachbody lifestyle, which means embracing a lifestyle of becoming the best you and helping other people become the best them.
Amen. So the first step is so easy. All you got to do is participate. That's it. That's all we're saying. But you got to participate fully. Don't put Beachbody in the closet for 90% of the day, right? Wear it on your shirt. Let everybody know you're the Beachbody person in your community. When they see you, they should chuckle and go, oh, wow, she's a Beachbody person. Right? When that happened for me, I was so excited. I was like, what? They think I'm the Beachbody person? That's awesome. That's who I want to be. I must be doing something right. Right? Just be a participant. It's so powerful, just doing that. And if you want to test it out sometime, go to a park, anywhere, bring a basketball with you or a soccer ball or whatever, and we'll go out onto the basketball court by yourself and just start bouncing the basketball. I guarantee you somebody's going to come over and they're going to, oh, can I shoot with you? Can I? Or go to a, whatever, go to a community center and go over to the ping pong table and pick up a paddle and start bouncing a ball and see how long it takes before you've got people around who want to play ping pong with you. It's powerful. Be an active participant and always ask yourself, what did I do today to shine my Beachbody coachdom? Right? I'm always asking myself, was I a coach today? What did I do today? What did I do today that shows up on my little stream of consciousness on what I think is so cool about being a Beachbody coach? And as long as you can say something to that every single day, you're on the road to success. Okay, that's number one, be an active participant. Number two is what Keith was alluding to. We don't have to do this alone. And in fact, if you're trying to do it alone, you're doing it wrong. All right? You're doing it wrong. This is about community building. Number two is inviting. All right? Oh, guess what? Another vital behavior. Gee, surprise, surprise. Inviting. You need to live in the sharing cycle. All right? And here's the cool part. If you're doing number two, you're doing number one. All right? And number two is going to help give you some ideas of some activities to be doing so you're fulfilling number one. Number two is living in the sharing cycle. How many people have heard of the sharing cycle? It's a term people don't use very much anymore, and I'm going to bring it back. This is the most important part of building a coach business. You must live in the sharing cycle. The sharing cycle is finding people to connect with. So ask yourself, what did I do today to find some new people to connect with? What did I do on social media? What did I do person to person? What were some of my activities today that I can call finding, that are helping me find people to connect with? Number two is inviting. Did I invite anybody today? Did I invite anybody to the party? Did I invite to my challenge groups? Did I invite to my fit club, if you're a fit club person, and I hope you are, because I'm a huge fan? Did I invite to this week's shake and share that I'm doing, or my home party? And boy, if you don't know those words, there's some research for you. Home parties and shake and shares and fit clubs and challenge groups. Did you invite to any of that? Did you invite anyone to take a look at the coach business opportunity? Did you invite anyone to take a look at this amazing new business that you're a part of? Inviting is number two in the sharing cycle. The third thing, and all of these things, all four of these should be happening every day, by the way. The third is sharing. Did I give someone something to look at when I invited them? Right? That's the sharing part. It's not enough to find people. It's not enough to invite people. Here's the hard part, it's sharing. Most of us are really good, especially with social media these days. I'm pretty good at finding. I got 10,000 followers and 5,000 people over here and this over here. Right? Then I even get my invitations out, but I don't really share. Right? When it comes to the part of really telling your story. What is sharing? Telling your story. Use third-party tools. In your online office, you have a whole wealth, a whole library of professionally produced videos to share with people on every single one of our products, even on the business opportunity. You don't got to make this stuff up. It's all there for you. But you have to be sharing every single day. And then the fourth part of the sharing cycle is sponsoring, right? Actually getting to the point of working with people. Even sharing comes to an edge where it's scary. All right, I did all my sharing. Now I gotta sponsor somebody. Now I gotta ask them to actually become part of my group, to actually become a coach on my team. and partner with them. Sponsoring is just about partnering. Ask yourself, who did you sponsor today? And after 10 years in this business, earning multi-million dollars and whatever, tens of thousands of people in the downline, you know what my business plan is? Every day I ask myself, what am I doing to find people today? What are some of my activities that I'm doing to invite? What am I doing to share today? And who am I sponsoring today? And sponsoring might be that I'm helping out somebody in my challenge group, I'm answering some questions. Might be I'm doing a one-on-one with some of my coaches. Might be that I'm speaking at a super weekend event, right? Sponsoring is the activity of getting and engaging with the people who are in your system, your customers or your coaches. Getting that aspect going. If you're doing all 4 of those things regularly and consistently, each and every week, you have a business. But here's homework piece number 2. Go home tonight and really honestly assess your business. Write those 4 things, and then write a list. Here's all the things I do to find people. Here's all the things I do to invite people. Here's all the things that I do to share. And here's the sponsoring that I do. And if you have a good, healthy paragraph of stuff in each one of those, you're on track. Keep going. You're doing it. But my guess is you're probably going to find a couple places where you've got some holes. And that's going to help you figure out where you need to get some help. Talk to your sponsor. Talk to your upline diamond. Talk to your teammates. How can I fill in some of these gaps? What do you do for inviting? Some of the most powerful conversation that you can have with your success partners, and hopefully you have success partners, are exactly that. Let's brainstorm. What do you do to find people? My Shakeology cup selfie is only going so far. Like, what else are you doing to find people? Live in the sharing cycle. Crucial component number 2. And are you seeing how easy this is? Because I'm telling you, this is super easy. This is super, super easy. Be an active participant. Like he said, you don't even have to be good at it. You don't got to be Joe Six-Pack or Mary Six-Pack, right? You don't got to be that. You got to be an active participant. Uh-oh, somebody's name must be Mary. You got to be an active participant. Easy. Get in the game. Start playing. Make sure that you've got a lot of activities in the sharing cycle so you're not doing it alone. That's the first 2. Keith, you want to add anything on sharing?
Yeah, just real quick. So talking with the last couple months, I did probably like 75 different team calls. I was on a bunch of team calls and talking about the sharing cycle, right? So talking about it, Bob just went through the 4 things in the sharing cycle. Here's the deal. Here's what we think. And here's where we get caught up in. We think that if we scroll through social media, we think that if we come to this meeting, we think that if we are just getting on the national wake-up call, we're getting on the team call, we're researching how to do a website, we're watching the next Beachbody Champions page video, whatever it is. None of that, 0 of that is part of the sharing cycle. 0. 95% of your work should be in the sharing cycle. When you wake up in the morning, here's where you want to be. So here, for me, just stepping back into it, first thing was I can, I will, I am. Over and over. And I learned that from Bob before even getting involved with Beachbody, because most of us are, I can't, I won't, I don't. I can, I will, we need to reprogram our mind. First thing in the morning, I can, I will, I am. Second thought was, I'm excited and I anticipate the 2 people I can present this business to today. And for me, it was always, like, I love the business opportunity, but just catch the philosophy there, right? I can, I will, I am. And who are the 2 people I can present this business to today? Set that as the overarching goal, the overarching focus. And I don't want you to get on and check how many messages you have, check how many likes you have, get on the team. None of that is going to grow your business. Talking to people. Like, we can break that sharing cycle down into one activity, talking to people.
Mom, other kids.
Right? Like right there. Mom, let me show you about this little thing we got going on. And here's the deal. Today, you don't need more training. Here was my pitch in the beginning.
Other kids.
I am crazy excited about this Beachbody. What's Beachbody? You ever heard of that P90X? Because nobody knew what Beachbody was when we first started. You ever heard of P90X? Oh yeah. I just got signed up as a coach. I'm super passionate about it. I don't even know what the heck it is yet, but I want to do this. Would you do me a favor? Can you check out this webinar? Can you jump on a call with Bob? Can you watch this 5-minute video? You don't need to sign up. Just do me a favor. Just check it out. How many of us can do that? Right? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but how many of you already did that yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before, over and over and over? Because all it is action. You don't need to be eloquent. You know what they're going to buy? How bright, shiny, beautiful are you from the inside out? How passionate are you about this opportunity? I don't care about the words you say. I care about how passionate you are about it. And do you know where you're going, with or without them? Like, I'd love for you to come on, let's do this thing. I'm going to the top with or without you. That's the energy, right? So it's doing those 4 vital behaviors with the energy. I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know somehow they did it, those guys did it, they did it, Craig's doing it. I'm going to do this thing, right? That's it. It's simple. So keep it simple and focus in on your action. Yeah, we can't do this alone. We have to come here with the community. We have to be with each other, but then we have to take that and run with it and actually talk to people. Not putting things out on social media and hoping we're going to be the next social media maven or maven. What's that word? Maven? Maven? Maven. Maverick. Whatever you want. Like, not hoping that we're going to be the next social media influencer. Maybe you are, but that's not how you're going to get your foundation to your business started. It's going to start by actually talking to people.
And 2 people a day. That's it. That's it. That very first meeting that I went to back in January of 2010 that I talked about in the beginning, that started me on this whole journey, the guy who was talking from the stage, he set me on a course on that day, and it's been my course ever since. And I believe wholeheartedly that what he told me that day was the truth, and he told me that the pace to success in this business is inviting and sharing with 2 new people a day, 5 to 6 days a week. Can you do that? Sharing with 2 new people every day, 5 to 6 days a week. Minimum. But even if you just do the minimum, you're going to have a business. But you got to do it every day, 5 to 6 days a week. It sounds easy. And we all say, oh, it's easy. But I'll tell you, 10 years later, I still work pretty hard to get my 2 shares a day in. I'm going to be honest with you. There's some work that goes into that finding funnel. There's some work that goes into that inviting funnel. There's some work that gets me to the point where I can actually look eye to eye to someone or get someone on the phone and share, right? Because that's how it has to happen. I don't count a Facebook message that says, hey, go to my website. That's not a share, right? I was at a training one time, and a trainer asked the same question I did. Can you do that? The guy in the back raised his hand and goes, yeah, I do like 50 a day. Really? How do you do that? I go to the mall and I wear my P90X shirt while I'm walking around. No, that's not sharing. That's good. That might be part of your finding. That might be a good finding tool. But hold yourself accountable to a couple of quality shares a day, 5 to 6 days a week, and do that consistently. Do that consistently for a year. And you're going to see some amazing things happen to you. And keep yourself consistent. It's like those 25 or 30-minute workouts, right? Oh, it's only 25 minutes a day. Whew! Once you do them every single day, day after day after day after day after day, right? We find out that there's actually a little bit of effort to get that done. I'm telling you, this business is easy. There's a few easy things you gotta do, but they're also the things that I think, for whatever reason, we shy away from naturally. All of us do. Even me. Oh man, I don't want to talk to somebody else today. I talked to a few people yesterday. Maybe that's okay. 2 people a day, every single day. Okay? Number 3, I know we're running short on time, but this is a big one. They're all big ones, right? There's only 3 of them. They better each be pretty big. The third one is you have to be willing to lead. You have to be willing to lead. So often we hear, well, to build a great successful organization, a great business, you got to develop leaders, you got to duplicate leadership and all of that stuff. And we all know those buzzwords, right? It starts with you. Are you willing to lead? And I'm going to tell you, being willing to lead is actually really simple because it just says, are you willing to do number 1? Are you willing to be a participant? Because you know what a leader does? A leader shows up. A leader shows up whether anybody else is showing up or not. If I have a fit club and I'm the leader of the fit club, I'm not going to moan and cry and whine because only 2 people showed up this week. I'm showing up and I'm going to be there because I'm the leader. And I'm making sure that it gets done. If I'm running a challenge group and I'm the leader, I'm not going to get bummed out after a couple of weeks because only 2 people are commenting. I'm in there. I'm going to finish the program. I'm the leader. Just be willing to show up. Be willing to be the one who isn't listening to the naysayers. Be the one who shows up with positivity, with confidence, with poise, and gets the job done. Trust me, I know what it's like, especially in the beginning. When you're like, how am I going to get people to think of me as the fitness person, right? I spent 20 years of my life building a reputation as an environmental litigation attorney. I was Chief Enforcement Officer for the Department of Environmental Protection in Western Massachusetts. And then I went off and I started my own law firm and I was consulting for people and I spent a lot of time getting people to know me as that. Then all of a sudden, I'm walking around and I want people to know me as the fitness guy. Trust me, there were people whispering when I left the room. My own parents, my own best friend did an intervention on me, right? Took my father like 4 or 5 years to stop asking me. Yeah, but you're still taking clients, right? I'm like, Dad, I'm making like 5 times the amount of money I ever made as a lawyer. I'm not taking any more clients, right? Be a leader. Be the person who sees the vision of where you're going, set the sails, and get going. That's all it takes to be a leader. Everything else will fall in place for you. Be willing to lead. Be willing to help people help themselves. That's all it is, right? Who's the greatest teachers? They're the ones who are willing to stay after class and help the kids who didn't quite get it, right? They're the ones who put in that extra time to help the kids who need a little bit more, right? That's all it takes to be a leader. Be the first one to show up. Be the one who always shows up. And be the last one to leave the room. If you do those 3 things, you're a leader. And people are going to follow. And that will snowball. That will build momentum. And the next thing you know, people are going to watch you doing that and go, I want to be like her. And I notice she's always the first one there. She's the last one to leave. I guess I'll do that. People will duplicate what you do. That word duplication, especially in our industry, gets thrown around like some magic. I want duplication. All you got to do is push duplication. Well, guess what? The only thing that's going to duplicate are the things you're doing. What is duplicating, right? So if you're sitting back and you kind of do Success Club every once in a while, and you kind of run a challenge group, and you don't kind of do anything. Because you're going to kind of have a business. You're going to kind of have an organization. Go all in, Be willing to lead. Be willing to be the one that cuts the path. That's all you got to do. It's simple. Simple, simple, simple. Becoming a leader is not some crazy, although there's a zillion books out there on it and all that kind of stuff, right? You can break it all down, but when you break it all down to the simplest form, just be the one who shows up. Be the one that people know they can depend on, right? When you hear the stories about the greatest athletes and all of this stuff, it's always this weird, humble story about, well, they're the first ones to show up to practice and they're the last ones off the court. There's a reason for that. That's what will bring success into your business. That's what will attract people to your groups. Don't be the coach that, your business is built upon your reputation, like Keith said before. People are attracted to you, your ultimate, most shiny version of you. Be the person when people leave your groups, the stories, the referral stories that are trickling out are, wow, she's in there every single day. It's amazing. She answered every single question I ever had. A couple of days went by where I was sick and I missed my workouts and she noticed I wasn't posting. She reached out to me in a private message. Be that kind of coach. Be the kind of coach that is in there doing it. That will drive duplication more powerfully than anything else you can do. Be in there and do it. I know Keith's chomping at the bit to dive into this leadership piece because this is his thing. For those of you who are in the raffle, Keith's got some of his books. They're going to be in that raffle. Dig into that thing, man. Dig into that thing because there's some powerful stuff in there. Keith, want to share on some leadership pain points?
I'm just going to say one quick thing and then I have to run. I actually have to leave at 11:30. So when we get into leadership, here's what we want to know, like 5-star diamond, right? Sort of the pinnacle goal at Beachbody. And here's what everybody wants to know. And here's what we all come here for. Tell me what I need to do. Right? Tell me what I need to do. I'm a hustler. I'll do the work. Tell me what I need to do. How do I find people that are going to actually work this business? And then how do I get them to do something, right? Who doesn't want to know the answer to that question? So we're talking about leadership. That's leadership, right? And we all want to know the how do I do? And everything that Bob just covered in that leadership piece and everything that literally we covered all day, the question isn't, what do I need to do? The question is, who do I need to become? Right? That person that shows up early and stays late. So what we're talking about, and catch this, because these pieces are slight, guys. We all want to know the checklist. The philosophy is the piece that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. The checklists are always going to change. Who do I need to become is the person that you're growing into, the person that sacrifices, the person that gets uncomfortable, the person that shows up day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Because in 10 years, the vital behaviors have changed. The sharing cycle has changed. But who's the person that's showing up? That never changes. And that's how you lead people. You don't have to know. Like, there's a gazillion different leadership books and leadership philosophies and all of this. But here's the one true thing that's never going to change. The more inspiring you are as a person, the more people are going to follow you. How do you become an inspiring person? You walk through your own SHIT. It's as simple as that. How many people know Haley Christian? You guys know her? What was so inspiring about her journey? She stopped wallowing in her SHIT and started walking through it. Leadership isn't about tactics and tricks and philosophies and all this. Not in our industry. Leadership is about becoming who God put you on this planet to become. Not before your childhood, not before you got made fun of, not before all this stuff, all this gook got attached to you. The person that you're afraid of, right? The person that you know there's that big, beautiful, bold dream deep down inside. You know that you're capable of it, but it's going to be uncomfortable to get there, right? That all you have to do is follow that dream, follow that vision, hone into it, get locked into it, and stop worrying about all the other things. Stop thinking about all those things. Stop trying to figure out, well, how am I going to do it? What's going to fall in place? This is my vision. This is my dream. This is how I lead. I anchor into that, and I just keep taking one step after the next, after the next, after the next. That's leadership. And I'm telling you, you share that on social media, you can take the sexiest selfie, you can get in the best shape. Nothing's sexier than someone living up to who they're supposed to be. Nothing in the world. And it's going to push a lot of people away, but it's going to draw in all the right people. All the people who want to follow you. So the reality of this is we've got to grow. That's what's going to grow a business. That's what's going to lead to happiness. That's what's going to lead to fulfillment. That's what's going to lead to all the beautiful things in life when we're growing into who we're meant to be. And I'll leave with this one thing, and then I'm going to run off stage. I believe that the first half of our life, we accumulate a bunch of crap. And the second half of our life, we let go of all that to live into the beautiful, shiny person that we're capable of being. And for each one of us in this room, it's not for me, it's not for Bob, it's not for Craig, it's not for her or for him. It's for you. You have the ability to do it, but you have to make the commitment. You have to plug into the community. You have to do the work. You have to lead yourself. All right, I'll end with that. Love you guys. Love you, Mom. Hey, my name got put up there.
All right, thank you so much, Keith. Nothing like being surprised with a date of the stage, huh? All right, so I know we're kind of wrapping up on our time, but just let me recap. Number one, be an active participant, be a player. Nothing gets done from the grandstands. You can't sit in the stands watching everybody else play and wonder why your business isn't growing, right? Get on the field, be a player, be an active participant. That's number one. Number two, live in the sharing cycle. Contemplate what activities you have in your business plan that fit into each one of those things. When you get home tonight, rip out a notebook. Even if you're really good at this, I do this all the time. I'm always reevaluating and reassessing. What do I have going on in the sharing cycle? I know those are the 4 essential components of activities that I want going on in my business. And just like Keith said, most of us spend 90% of our time doing stuff that's outside of the sharing cycle, when 90% of our activities should be within that sharing cycle. And that doesn't matter what level you're at. All of us, whether you just joined this morning or whether you're like me and you've been doing the business for 10 or more years, 90% of your activities should be somewhere within that sharing cycle. And if you've got a bunch of other stuff going on that you think is moving your business forward, you might want to think about weeding out some activities and making sure that you can squarely and easily line up your activities with one of those 4 components of the sharing cycle. And then the last one, of course, is be willing to be a leader. You can't be in a business that's based on helping people help themselves if you don't put yourself in the front there with the responsibility of getting busy in the helping. That's all it means to be a leader in this business. It's really simple. It might just mean inviting somebody to come along with you to the team call, inviting somebody to come along with you to a challenge group, to do a program, to get to an event like this. You don't have to put any more burden on your shoulders. Most of us get scared when we hear, oh my God, I have to be a leader. Oh no, that means I need to put together a team training and I need to be responsible for this and that and the next. No, you don't have to do any of that. Because all you have to do is be good at pointing people. Yeah, there's a coach training group starting over here. There's a coach support group that's great over here. Hey, I know that in your community there's a whatever, a star diamond coach who does X, Y, Z. It just means pointing people in the right direction and getting them hooked up with the resources and information that they need to succeed. Can everybody in here do all three of those things? All right, you're ready to build a business. All right, thank you everybody for having me. And I'm looking forward to seeing some successful businesses